And I'm watching it like, what the fuck is going on? Who is this girl at the crosswalk? To Every You I've Loved Before, and To Me, The One Who Loved You. These are two new anime movies that just came out, and you're supposed to be able to watch them in any order. It's kind of a choose your own adventure type of thing. So basically, if you watched To Me, The One Who Loved You, and then you watch To Every You I've Loved Before, you'll have a completely different experience than a watcher who watched it in the opposite order. I think this is a cool concept because it sets it up where you can watch these movies in any order and there's no wrong way to watch it. Or so I thought. I happen to have watched them in the wrong order. Now, yes, technically speaking, they do take place in parallel universes, so you can chronologically watch them in any order. You can, realistically. But after have seen both of these movies, I am disappointed that I didn't watch them the other way around. They were both good movies and I enjoyed the whole experience, but I know that if I would have watched these movies the other way, it would have been a lot more impactful, a lot more emotional, and just better in general. I think it just would have been a better experience. The movie I watched first was To Every You I've Loved Before, and I'm gonna be honest, I enjoyed the fuck out of it. I thought it was a really good movie. It was super romantic, it had a great story. I was in love with it. I was really fucking with this movie. Now, granted, it was very confusing. And after finishing it, I was of the mindset that, the second movie would fill in those gaps, which it honestly did. But if you put that confusion aside and you just look at it as a movie on its own, it was beautiful. It was very beautiful. There were a couple moments where it got super emotional. I got a little choked up. It had everything I wanted from a movie. I'm talking beautiful animation. The musical scoring in the background was fantastic. The writing, it was all just super good. Granted, the voice acting was a little flat. I can't lie to you. The voice acting was a little flat. But other than that, it was really good. Now, it's a very romantic movie. It's a very romance type movie with a lot of sci-fi mixed in. So it does get confusing once you start to try to like latch onto the science of it and understand the imaginary science is what they call it in the movie. So if once you're trying to understand the imaginary science and the phase shifting and jumping between worlds, that can get a bit confusing. And I would say don't get too lost in that. Like, try not to focus a little too hard on that because it is very important, but you don't have to have a super strong grasp of every single thing they're doing to be able to enjoy it. Now, at the end of the movie is when it starts to get a little confusing and maybe even a little hollow at times. It gets a little confusing and hollow. Akazune from the parallel universe goes into this Kazune's body and writes herself a note about the story of Koyumi in her world. And this Koyumi is a lot different. He went through a lot of tragedy and he spent his entire life trying to fix a mistake he made. And he did. He wiped that away and he wants the opportunity to meet this girl that he was in love with. So our Kazune goes and she puts this mysterious date on his little Apple Watch type shit, and Koyumi goes off. He goes to meet this ghost at the crosswalk, and I'm watching it like, what the fuck is going on? Who is this girl at the crosswalk? What's going on with this other version of Kazune where her and Koyumi didn't end up together? Like, there's just so much shit where I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So the girl at the crosswalk disappears. My man's almost dies. And then this random old lady comes and helps him with this medicine. And she talks to him. And at this point, I'm thinking, this woman must be important from the other story. I'm guessing the other story has to do with her. And it was still, even not knowing what was going on, it was still a beautiful scene watching these two characters connect, you know? And it was beautiful and it was cool because I knew something dope was going to come of it afterwards. And then Koyumi goes back to Kazune and he explains how grateful he is for the life that he got to have because he got to meet her. And he's so grateful for how happy he was and how happy he is with her and how much he loves not just this her, but her in every single universe. Which, now looking back on it, I don't know if that's true. I mean, I guess he did kind of love Kazune in the other universe, but I don't. It is true. He loves her in every universe, and he's very happy for it. Credits roll. Great movie. I loved it. I had a great time watching it. But I was confused, and there were a couple points in the story that felt hollow, and I'm waiting on the second movie to fill in those gaps, right? Cool. So I give myself about 24 hours to kind of, just sit with this, let it rot, marinate on it. And then I go and watch, to me, The One Who Loved You. And don't get me wrong, it's a very good movie. I think this was a very good movie too. But between the two of them, I feel like this was the weaker movie, right? And I feel like if I would have watched this one first, I would have got more of a build because this one wasn't as good as the other one, so it would have built into this movie. I think that would have been perfection damn near. But that's not what I got, and that's okay. After watching the other movie first, this movie didn't feel as good because this version of Koyomi felt very watered down, which he was because he didn't have time to really build up a personality because he was obsessing over the Shiori situation. This version of Kazune didn't feel as good because she was more of a background character to the watered down Koyomi, which kind of watered her down, which I didn't enjoy that as much either. And then the awesome overarching plot of the first movie, well, I guess it's not the first movie, it was the first one to me, but the overarching plot of how do I know who the person I'm talking to, if they're really them or not. That was completely lost. We didn't get any of that in this movie. It just didn't hit the same. It didn't hit the same. I wish I would have watched the order better. And even chronologically, I feel like this movie just comes first. The original timeline in which Koyomi gets Shiori stranded, he goes back, he fixes it, and then the other movie happens. Everything just would have went better if I watched it in the opposite order. Do I feel a little bit cheated? Yes. Yes, I do. I kind of wish they wouldn't have advertised it as movies you could watch in any order. Yes, you can watch them in any order. You can. I want to stress that you can, but you shouldn't. You should watch, to me, The One Who Loved You, and then you should watch To Every You I've Loved Before. That's just the better way to watch it. The story feels a lot more fluid. The story builds to a better ending. It just works better that way. Even chronologically, it just works better that way. At least that's my opinion. And granted, I'm coming fresh off just watching the other movie, so I haven't really had time to see anybody else's opinions or watch any reviews or anything. I'm coming fresh off. So let me know if you guys watched it in a different order and you disagree with me, if you do agree with me, because I don't really know. I don't really know. I feel a little bit cheated. I feel cheated. I wish I would have watched it the other way, and I think I would have enjoyed it way more if I would have watched the way that I said. But it is what it is. We can't go back in time. Well, I haven't figured out time shifting yet. But once I do, no, I'm kidding. But we can't go back in time, but it is what it is. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. I would appreciate it. We're on the road to 1,000 subs, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you guys. I'm out. Peace.